Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War. It's remastered. We got Flash here. We have Queen here. We got a lot of people watching. It's on Deja Vu. It's game 2 between these two players in the last week. Woo! A lot of Flash recently, isn't there? Top right, it's gonna be Queen, ASL champion 2 times. Back in the year 2020 during the COVID era, and the bottom right, it's gonna be Flash. Snow's watching, Light, Mini, and Rush are also watching here today. I will not tell you who won the last game between these two players from earlier this week. Go back and watch it if you haven't. But it was an excellent game. We've got Flash and BSU last Saturday. We don't have face cams anymore because you guys do not like it. And let's go ahead and get into this replay. All right, man. Here on Deja Vu, we have Terror the Overlords counting out the wrong direction, which again will save him from being shot in the face by a Marine, which is excellent for him. Good news. And as always, Terran here is walling off at the front with a supply depot and a barracks because it is safe and economical against a Zerg player. If it's a pool first, you can wall off with a barracks and be safe. If it's a hatch first, hey, you can expand and wall off with a barracks. Just, you know, expanding early is a good idea in StarCraft. And look, it's an overpool opening here from our guy, Queen. Okay, so overpool opening against Flash. He knows it is Flash. So we will see if he wants a Ling Flood or if he just wants Lings to defend against a weird Marine timing push, or, you know, just to keep an eye out for when the Marine push with medics shows up and tries to push out. Steve the SCV scouting here. He said, let's go ahead and scout clockwise here today, which again is the wrong choice, but that's a-okay. Even if you scout the wrong way, you can still win the game. I know it seems impossible, but I have seen it with my own eyes. So, hatch coming down right at the same time the spawning pool finishes. Here from Queen, we've got 2 sets of Lings on the way. Flash is still super in the dark here. He hasn't seen any sign of Zerg here on Deja Vu, but the reports said there were Zerg here. So, sending out another scouting SCV because he knows how dangerous Queen can be if you don't scout him, and like speedlings are already on the way. And this SCV says, hey look, Ling's out. Oh boy, hurry, wall off, and then expand. Bam, expanding. He knows the timing for these Lings. He knows it's an overpool, so we can expand here. Got 2 more Lings here. We've got a drone on the way. And yeah, so it's not going to be a Ling Flood. I think the first 100 gas here will be for a lair because, you know, 2 hatch media openings are so darn popular these days, man. Just once, I would like to see a lurker bust. So it's Dasik, right? The Dasik replay. Dasik versus Light on Invader that I posted last week. I know it's from a stream. I know you guys hate that stuff, but man, that was an incredible game. I want to recast it. I don't know what I want to do right now, but go check it out if you can get through the fact that there's alerts happening, and I'm talking to people in chat while I'm trying to cast at the same time, and, you know, it's got some differences compared to this cast. Anyway, lair, neat. Metabolic boost, also very cool. One thing I thought was interesting is that Tastosis basically had the theory collectively that the reason like the spawning pool doesn't actually move when something's researching, the evolution chamber doesn't move either, that the only, as I said, SCV dies, the only race that has active visual indicators when something's happening is Terran, right? This is lighting up because it's making SCVs. This is not lighting up because it's not making Marines. Right? Engineering bays blink, armories blink, factories have lights too. But not all Protoss buildings show any indication when they're doing stuff, as the Spire gets started up at about 4 minutes. And the Zerg doesn't either. So their theory is that basically StarCraft is unfinished. They basically said that wasn't intended. They probably had the intention to add little visual indicators to every building that it's doing something, whether you're, you know, Terran, Protoss, or Zerg, but they didn't have time. They kind of rushed it towards the end, and that's why it's not out. I had never really heard that theory before, so I thought that was interesting. And that's a fast armory. This could be Valks. This could be Flash being all right, man, I know what you're doing. Quick third base up here, too. Low ground in the top left. from Queen. Gonna defend that sucker with mutas and zerglings as much as he can. But yeah, he's just like, look, man, you're going to make Mutalisks. You know what's really good against mutas and what can really keep mutas away better than anything else that I have right now? Valkyries. Valkyries would be good, but also he's just straight meching by that means. So, interesting. We could get Valkyries, but also probably just going to be Goliaths at this point. I got so excited, and I didn't even register it was 2 factories here. I thought it was 1 factory. And then I thought we'd get a starport, and then I thought we'd get a control tower, and we'd get Valkyries. But no, we only get boring old Goliaths. Look, Goliaths are fun, and I'm okay with a mech opening in this matchup because we don't get it very often. We do not get mech openings in TVZ as much as I'd like to see. It's usually Marines and Medics and Stim and Range and all that. So this is fine. Charon boost, neat. Let's see how Flash does with his mech against Queen here. Queen loves his queens. We might end up getting a few spawn broodlings in this game if we are lucky. So mutas are out, about 6 minutes. Charon boost not done yet. Turrets are going to have to play a big part here. And here we go. Burr, burr. Turret 1. Turret. There's not a second turret inside the natural base yet. These SCVs are pretty vulnerable. Goliaths doing what they can with their little, you know, embarrassing mini range attacks. Hee hee. It's a +1 flyer here, too, from Queen. It's interesting. Usually, I feel like when we see Goliaths in this matchup, the Zerg player gets a Carapace upgrade because it really helps against these Goliath attacks. They're doing half damage anyway because the Mutalisks are small, but further reducing that damage is pretty awesome. Going for the +1 instead. Yeah, Muta's taking hits. It's really the missile turrets that hit a lot harder than the Goliaths do, but eh. So it is going to be a starport. Not, you know, not saying we can't get Valkyries here. We definitely could. If Flash loved us, he would get us Valkyries because they're very fun. Third base popping up. A little, you know, unupgraded Marine plus upgraded Goliath push out across the map. They're making a beeline for that third, sir. They're going right across the center of the map. The Mutos are just trying to get on top of this production a little bit. And maybe pick off Goliaths as they come out, falling back to further missile turrets inside the mineral line. SCV dead, trying to build another factory. This is pretty good stuff, but his third base is in a lot of trouble. Like, he knows this is happening. Is he just okay, we're just sacking the third? Dude, Queen is just sacking the third base. He's like, who needs a third base? I sure don't. Checking to make sure there's not a fourth up there. Every drone at this third base dies. That hatch is going to die, and Queen's like, screw it. It's all good. I can go 2 base to 2 base against a meching Terran. Ow, ow, ow. You didn't see those guys. He doesn't even have his +1 attack yet. He's just making nothing but Mutalisks here. We're not seeing Lurker tech switch. We're not seeing Hydralisks. He just... Well, I guess a bunch of Lings and Mutas did show up and save the hatch, but it was almost dead. I thought for sure he was just going to let that thing die. Because, again, he just let all of those drones die. He didn't even try to evac them. He saw the army was moving in this direction because they were shooting at some of his Mutalisks. Then he just let them go up there, almost kill the hatch. I love this. This one sunken's going to save your hatch, man. So, Lings and Mutas, all the livelong day right now. That is it. Ling Muta against Mass Goliath. There's a science facility, so probably just adding science vessels in here with Irradiate. Ooh, a Hydrodon. Okay, now we're getting fancy. Hydras trade pretty darn well against Goliaths. Hydras and Lings together do an excellent job. Especially if the Lings have any kind of an upgrade, which they're not working on that. But you never know. We could fire that up at any point here. Macro hatch. Trying to make sure nobody walks up here and just kind of plinks at that hatchery and kills it, and then your third is gone. The fact that it's alive at all is honestly a bit of a miracle here from Queen. So yeah, science vessel on the way. Irradiate getting started. Oh, I don't know. Soon? Yeah, a couple Mutas die, a couple SCVs die. 'Tis the way of the world, as I understand it. There it is. See, blink, 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 blink. Irradiate's on the way. We know. See, spin, 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 spin. Upgrade, upgrade. It's really nice for casters. But, I mean, if you have the production tab, it's not that big of a deal. But for live casting, you don't have a production tab. So it'd be nice if Zerg did have, you know. I mean, this thing's bouncing. But it always bounces because there's nothing happening. This is upgrading and there's nothing moving. It's just the general bounce, bounce, bounce of the evolution chamber. Fourth base coming in on the left side here from Queen. Map control pretty well belongs to the Zerg player here. I think Queen's looking all right. Irradiate against these Mutalisks is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Irradiate against enemy lurkers, also very good. We'll see if we get a Queen's Nest here out of Queen, or if he feels like he can win this thing with Mutas and Hydras. It's definitely a non-standard TVZ, for which I am appreciative. Thanks, RJB, for this replay. There's the Irradiate. There's the Split Off. It's not very good. God, it's like a D-rank split from Queen. I feel like on my very, very, very best day ever, I could probably attain that same result. Which is not good at all for our guy Queen here. I think this Vulture's been running around the whole game. Remember when there were Vultures? There were early Vultures in this game, and then I think he stopped making them and just started pumping Goliaths, but Vultures are making a comeback, sir. It is a Queen on the way. He got a Queen's Nest. He did get a Queen's Nest. He's making a Queen as the third base comes in the right side here from Flash, but the fourth base is established here from Queen. Only 40 workers, but with the macro hatches, with the extra bases here, he should be able to saturate this base pretty quickly. Yep, there's a macro hatch coming up at the fourth there, too. 7 Queens at a time on the way. We get to see Queens from Queen versus Flash's mech. We are lucky, lucky sons of guns today, aren't we? Sons and daughters of guns. YouTube says like 1.9% of my viewership is female, so that's exciting, I guess. That number was wavered. Sometimes it's been 3, sometimes it's been less than 1.9. Tiny minority, effectively. Still thousands of people, though, I guess. Okay, Muta's back in. They're just eating the missile turret shots. How many SCVs can we kill? Wow. It's a few of them. Like 5 or 6 there. That's a much better split. It's like an A split right there. Not S rank, but we'll give it an A rank. Spawn Broodling's on the way because, duh. Because against mech. Again, no. Look, you're not making that many Queens without Spawn Broodling. It just makes no sense whatsoever. So what do we got? A lot of Goliaths out because these Mutalisks are a problem. The Hydras are an issue here. That's why the siege tanks exist, though. There aren't a lot of them, but 4 siege tanks. Pretty beefy, dude. Sniping that science vessel would be so good. Oh, he does. No. He gets the science vessel. Now lurker traps are a lot better. Not that I don't know if there are any lurkers out on the map, nor do I know if lurker aspect has been researched yet. It doesn't appear to have been. So maybe it's not that big of a deal. Science vessel being around for irradiates, yeah, good, but not providing detection against things like lurkers and, you know, burrowed drones. So here's our move out. Mech sitting here at 2-1 upgrades. The Hydralisks are at 1-0. Mutas are at 1-0 as well. Queen is supply blocked after losing a couple of those overlords. Is he going to try to jump on this? I think once he gets the tanks, I think jumping on this is pretty doable. The problem is getting the tanks. The Goliaths are covering any incoming angle these Queens can come from. Not that I'm convinced Flash knows it's Queens. He's seen a lot of Hydras and he's seen a lot of Mutas. And I haven't heard many scans, but I would be a little bit shocked if he didn't recognize that there were Queens out on the map. They've been here for a while. I mean, Flash getting caught by surprise here seems like something that's not very viable. Not likely. So Flash pretty happy to sit here on 3 bases, kind of defend all 3 of them as much as he can. The Mutas are back for round 17 of their harassment of this natural base. This time, too many Goliaths to allow that to happen, though. So Flash pushing out 174 supply of mech. Working on a +3. It's almost done. It's almost a timing attack for the mech to have the +3. Overlords are just not going to have a good time on this map right now at all. And there are definitely queens around with Spawn Broodling. Where are they? And here they come. Jumping in. Hydra's flanking from the left side. Queens. Bam, bam, bam from the right side. But a lot of queens dying there. Flying them right into that giant ball of Goliaths. All these mutas are dying. I don't know if we killed enough tanks with that. Ugh, 160 to 140 supply. Some units split off to go after the natural base. Some try to cover against all these Hydras. That's a lot of Hydras, in fairness. Wow, these tanks might just die straight up to the sheer number of Hydras that are here, even with the +3 attack that finish as right now. It's a lot of dead Hydras. They do kind of win. And now this, man, maybe Flash should have kept his army together there a little bit. I don't know. He's getting into the natural base as much as he can. Should be able to take it down, but I said that about the third base as well, and it didn't actually die. 147 to 116 supply right now. Yeah, I don't know. I think it might have all come down. The Hydras jumping on these tanks. They're not sieged up. They are going to die anyway. These guys trying to get some hits off. Those tanks fall back. The natural base dies. Getting into the main base is a big deal here, too. Queens, not enough energy on any of these guys for a Spawn Broodling. Or, you know, they'd be doing it. Drones, oh, just dying as they're trying to long distance mine here. Goliaths, 3-2 Goliaths against 2-0 Hydralists. The upgrade advantage for the mech is ginormous. These Lings trying to roll in, they don't have Adrenal. They're terribly upgraded. There's no hive here whatsoever. Queens come in, take down a tank, take down a couple Goliaths. Losing, oh, a queen in the process. Main base getting smooshed. Yeah, when there are Goliaths stutter stepping into your main base, killing your drones, you're kind of pretty dead. 130 to 67 supply here. Upgrades, mech. The queens not getting nearly as many connections as they needed to. Queens kind of stopped microing his queens, which indicates to me he's probably done with this whole thing. And that's it. Queen taps out. Yo. Yeah, I think it came down to that one big engagement. I just think there were just simply not enough connections on those tanks by the queens to make it worthwhile for Queen to have made these queens. He flew in. There were a bunch of Goliaths sitting here. Boop, 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 boop. They're dying as they come in to try to cast. You have to come in, come to a stop, and then cast your spell. And in that time, you can die 4 times over to +3 Goliaths, which they were. Yeah, simply did not get enough done there. And yeah, Flash splits off some of his army to go take out the natural base, get into the main. The others hold this high ground position. The Hydras are all dying. Again, upgrades. 3-2 upgrades versus 2-0 upgrades is not going to work out for you. Not against a meching, right? Not against a meching Terran player, especially not. Especially not if it's Flash. Oh, boy. Way to go, Flash. Way to get a win here today against Queen. Looking good. I'm really sad he's not in ASL 19. I imagine he'll be in ASL 20, though. Right? He's injured, but it's kind of a wristy thing. I don't think it's anything that's going to end his career. He's back. He'll be back when he can, and when he does, we'll be very excited for it. So, GG, man. That was awesome. That was very fun. Little short, 17-minute mech opening into Queens, and the Queens do not win. Just not as much attention paid to those Goliaths as I think Queens should have. Yeah, this out-kill ratio, 227 to 96, is massive for Flash. 6 to 6 buildings raised, and a lot of those are probably turrets going down, and the outspend by Flash is ridiculous. Outspent! A lot of that, I didn't even mention that again, but I had to bring this up. I have to bring this up one more time, is he just let Flash wander into his third base in the top left, kill every drone that was there, and then almost take down the hatch. That hurts. That sets you back a lot. Not as much as losing the hatch, but still. But still. So, GG. That was a great game from Flash, a really fun cast. And that's going to be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.